Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me, no. Dying don't agree with me, no. All you board ghosts, come with me, we're going home.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experiences. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is Fiasco. To find out how Fiasco is played and how we generated the story from the game, listen to our episode primer on Fiasco. The playset we're going to be playing today is Science Comics by Nick Wedig. You can find this online and in the Fiasco mobile app. I'm going to be one of your humble players today, John Holt. With me is
Stephen Moverley.
Josh Mueller.
And Stacey Douglas Moverley.
all right. So, gang, welcome back.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's good to be back.
Time for another Fiasco. So, first thing we're going to do is roll our dice and generate our grid.
Sounds good.
All right, so we've generated our grids and our characters. Steve, why don't you tell us about your character?
My real name is Roger Stevenson. I am a former hero turned villain. My heyday was in the 70s, where I hunted vampires, known as the Incisor because I would always extract their incisor teeth. Unfortunately, vampires have now become a protected species, but that hasn't prevented me from continuing on my path of attacking them. My once hero status has now become a villain status.
Between me and Steve's characters, Roger Stevenson, we have a villainous relationship. We're similarly themed villains fighting for the use of the same name. And we also have a need to get even with the whole damn world. And my character is Doctor Victor Duplinious, 17, who is also vying for the title of Incisor. He is a former clone of the mad Doctor Victor Duplinious, who has since passed away, and his clone army sort of scattered to the winds to ply their trade and make their way in the world without their beloved master. And Dr. Victor Duplinious, 17, has chosen to practice his wicked dentistry on the world. I share a family relationship with a fellow clone, Stacey's character.
Yes, and my character is Dr. Victoria Duplinious the Fifth. Female clones were a little bit more on the recent side before our master died. She has decided to go off into the land of becoming a minion. Since she spent a lot of time being kind of a minion as part of the clone army, she feels like she wants to continue along that route. And so she's recently hooked herself up with an old hand who she's hoping will teach her the ways. And that's Josh's character.
That would be Marcel. Marcel is an animal handler for a supervillain, but he wasn't always just Marcel the animal handler. In fact, he was once Dr. Moreau, a hero who used to work in tandem with Roger Stevenson Incisor back in the 70s, fighting vampires, using his scientist powers of animal husbandry. But again, now just merely a hired hand handling animals.
All right. And now, do you guys have a stated master or
We really haven't.
villain you're attached to?
We haven't yet.
All right.
No,
Maybe it comes up in the middle of the game. Maybe
Let it lie.
let it let the game dictate.
Cool. So our grid one more time before we get into the game. Between Steve and myself, there is the villains, similarly themed villains, fighting for the use of the same name and the need to get even with the whole damn world. Between myself and Stacey, there's a family relationship, clones, and the need to get respect from the Bureau of GLOVE, who classified you as a D-class villain. Between Stacey and Josh, there is a minions relationship, new recruit and old hand, and an object, a doomsday device, Dr. Thunder's weather control device. And between Josh and Steve, there is a heroes relationship, hunted vampires together back in the 70s. And the location, foreign parts, a rave in Stockholm. So that's it. We've generated a grid, got our characters going. We'll roll right into the game.
present day, Stockholm, a rave. Walking through the crowds is myself, Roger Stevenson. He prefers raves because it's one of the few places that one can walk around in leather dental scrubs and not draw too much attention to themselves.
That and Burning Man.
Yes, well, he also enjoys Burning Man, but
It's not as good as it used to be.
And he's enjoying the music, twirling his little glow stick around, and he sees in the strobe lights his old buddy, Dr. Marcel Moreau, and he goes over to say hello.
Wow, long time no see.
Moreau, what have you been up to these days?
And I kind of look at the ground. I'm kind of slightly embarrassed. Would you believe that I'm here today to install lasers onto elk?
Elk lasers, huh?
Yes.
Who's getting elk lasers?
I'm working for Dr. Yes.
Oh, Doctor, yes.
Attended a self-actuation class years ago where he was taught to say yes to everything, and he just hasn't stopped. But he apparently, elk, Sweden, it's a thing. Last week, he had me putting lasers on alligators. We were in Louisiana. Before that, lasers on sharks, lasers on squirrels. It's just, I'm putting lasers on anything with 4 feet these days. But keeps a roof above my head. Days of fighting vampires are, those days are gone, aren't they?
It's true. It's what brought me to Stockholm recently. I was reminiscing about the old days. It's funny that we should run into each other.
Yeah. I mean, you're not after Doctor Yes, are you? That'd be awkward.
I don't believe he's a vampire. I mean, granted, I suppose if he ran into a vampire, he might become a vampire, but
he'd be into it. He wouldn't say no. Asshole.
No, but I'm trying to lay a little low. The vampire gig is not quite as accepted as it used to be. But I just can't let those blood-sucking fiends get away with it.
I'm right with you. I'm right with you. Things have gotten a little too progressive.
You haven't heard of any vampires in the area, have you?
It's a rave, Roger. It's a rave. Half these people are probably fucking vampires or are vampires.
Maybe we should keep an eye out for vampires.
Well, you should.
Do you want to get the band back together?
I just watch out for elk. I gotta get back to work.
All right. Well, it was good seeing you.
Yeah. Where are you living these days? Are you still back in the States?
I'm still back in the States.
All right. Well, I'll look you up sometime.
Please do.
Alrighty.
So, Roger Stevenson starts perusing the crowd, looking for the telltale signs of vampirism in the audience.
How is this going to go? Is he going to find them?
I don't know.
What do you guys think?
Think he goes positively?
I think he's going to find vampires in a rave in Stockholm.
But does that go positively or does that go negatively?
Oh, no, I think it becomes a real shit show.
Okay, so it goes negatively.
I mean, there's very clearly going to be elk with lasers involved.
I mean, there's probably a banner that says, like, Winter Carnival Vampire Relief Fund, like charity rave.
The vampires are drawn to Stockholm because it's, I don't know, there's a longer
winter.
Yeah. They're kind of like
Longer
reverse
nights.
snow bunnies.
So they're basically all over the place?
Like, instead of where we would go to, like, Hawaii for vacation, they're like, oh, we're going to go to Sweden or Norway or Finland, maybe even Svalbard.
So Roger realizes he is absolutely surrounded by vampires, as this is the winter vampire relief charity rave. Not everybody's a vampire. Pulls out his trusty extracting pliers, evil gleam in his eye, looking for his next victim, trying to decide which one of these vampires she'll be, when an ancient vampire that he had dealt with and escaped him in the past turns and realizes, my God, it's the Incisor!
All these vampire activists are like, get him, war criminal.
And the Incisor has no choice but to flee.
The Incisor is the incisor, Dr. Victor Duplinious 17, is in his basement lair, and one of his Google alerts pings that the incisor was spotted in Stockholm, and he smashes his hands on the desk and goes, "Inconceivable! I was not in Stockholm. It must be that imposter, the incisor, the not incisor. Ah! I'll get him." And I go into my closet and get my incisor suit, which is like a giant oversized tooth costume. Put it on and go up out of the basement, and there's Mama Duplinious. She's like all of our mother. So I live in the basement of the Duplinious mad household. And I go, "Mom, I'm going to borrow the rocket sled." So I hop in the rocket sled and blast
Okay,
my
honey,
way.
just make sure you gas it up when you bring it back, okay?
Okay, Mom. And I blast my way off to Stockholm to try to find the other incisor. And I land the rocket sled outside of the rave. I see Victoria Duplinious out there, tapping her foot, looking at her watch, and say, "Sister, are you here with the other incisor?"
Oh, no, I'm not here with the other incisor. I'm here for an appointment. I'm supposed to be meeting my new minion mentor. It's part of the whole mentor program that's through the Glove Initiative.
Glove? You should strike it out on your own. Become your own person. Make Dad proud.
Well, Dad, unfortunately, they considered him a D-class villain, and I figured that this is one way that maybe I can work my way up through the ranks and be able to bring back his good name.
You're working inside the system?
Yes.
That's never worked. That's
Well,
why
nobody-
we're villains.
But nobody's tried it before. I figured if one of us tries to work through the bureaucracy, we actually might be able to succeed. Besides, do you really enjoy running around in your giant tooth costume?
Of course I do.
Of course you do. What are you doing here?
I'm looking for him.
Oh, no. Him? Like the original incisor?
No, the imposter incisor. You haven't happened to see him, have you?
No, but there was some big kerfuffle that was going on inside this rave here not too long ago, so I wouldn't be surprised if you might find him inside. It is, after all, the Winter Carnival charity event for Vampire Relief Fund, and if there's any place he would be, I could see him being in there.
Oh, and he hates those. He's a racist against those vampires.
Yep, he hates vampires, that's for sure.
All right, I'll go looking for him. Thanks, sis.
Good luck.
Stay warm.
I'll try.
How's it going to go for old or young incisor?
Incisor the younger.
I think it goes good for him.
So good means I follow the sounds of a morally outraged mob as they raise their fists and
Shake their glow sticks.
yeah, and like bare their fangs and chase Roger Stevenson out of the rave. And I'm standing there by the exit door in my tooth costume, barring the way. And I say, "Ha-ha! Imposter incisor! Up to your old tricks!"
Oh no, not the upstart. What's up, Toothy?
Well, it seems that you are not on the side of the vampires.
No, I've never been on the side of the vampires.
That's not what I meant to say! Something. They're mad at you.
Of course
You're
they're
not
mad.
popular. I'm the real incisor who's popular.
What?
Hang up your extractors, old man.
Listen, Toothy. You'll never be the incisor. You can dress up like an incisor, but you will never actually be the incisor.
Oh, yeah? Watch this. Hey, vampire lady. What do I look like? What kind of tooth am I?
An incisor?
Bangarang! That's my scene.
Victoria is outside of the rave, looking at her watch. She knows she was supposed to meet up with the mentor she's been assigned to by the Glove organization, but she hadn't been given any more details besides the fact that she would meet him outside the event. So she keeps looking at her watch, knowing that a lot of time has passed and she's not even really sure who she's supposed to be looking for. And she's not even sure who she's been partnered up with. She just knows that there's been a lot of strings pulled to actually get her in with this person. So she's really excited to see who she's going to meet.
Okay. I think she probably sees as a gentleman affixing lasers to a small herd of elk in the parking lot. She might want to check that out.
Oh, I see you're using the model RA4200.
Oh, you're familiar with the Matrix Systems lasers systems. Systems.
Why, yes, I am. They're definitely the creme de la creme, but they are a very tricky laser to use. You must be very skilled, sir.
So science minion?
Yes.
Well, I've got good news and I've got bad news for you.
Oh?
The good news, I am Marcel Moreau, and you are in the right place.
Sir, oh, an honor to meet you. I've heard of your work.
Thank you. It's really just a job.
Yes, but you're so very good at it.
Oh,
I mean, who else figured out how to not only track a snow leopard, but attach a laser to it?
oh, I appreciate it. It's not quite my heyday of saving the world through animals.
As you say that, one of the lasers just blasts another elk and vaporizes it.
The bad news is I've got your first task for you. In a moment, these elk are going to wander into the rave and start shooting lasers at those vampires. And I need you to run up and grab the money that's been collected at this charity event. Dr. Yes, our employer,
Yes.
wants that money. Doesn't want the vampires to have it. So the elk will be a distraction. I'll need you to run in there, dodge the lasers, bring the money back, and I will have the sled ready for a departure.
Isn't that rather un-PC to be slaying all these vampires?
It's we're not slaying the vampires. It is just merely a distraction so that we may bring our employer the money, which we will get a cut from, that we can, put a roof above our heads.
Are you sure you really want to be doing this? I mean, given your skill set, sir, I would think you would be up for, bigger tasks rather than stealing money from a charity.
It's just a job. It's just a job.
All right, well,
It's tough out there.
I guess so. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. Chin up, kid. Chin up.
All right. Hopefully we're going to have some better days ahead of us than this. I wasn't looking forward to this as my first job, but I'll get myself ready.
When we get back, I'll let you work on the lasers with me.
Sounds good, sir.
I've got a couple of pandas for an excursion in China next week.
Wow, I've never worked with pandas before. That should be exciting.
Panda. Oh, lovely creatures. Lovely creatures. Eat and shit bamboo, but lovely creatures.
How's
So-
this going to go?
This is going to go well.
Okay. So Victoria stands herself, makes her way into the event and off to the side so that by the time that the elk come through, all of a sudden there's this crazy laser show that happens. And initially all the people in the rave think it's part of the show. But then as vampires start smoking, all of a sudden the crowd panics. By that point in time, Victoria's been able to get herself over by the table where all the money has been collected. And luckily for her, it hadn't been put away yet. It was basically in bags. So she grabs the satchels, thinks, wow, this is really old-fashioned, and runs out the door. Hops into the sled and takes off with her new mentor.
So Dr. Moreau has taken a few of the elk and latched them up to the sled, and we are now going through cosmopolitan Stockholm, where there's no snow on the ground whatsoever,
So it's
in a
like
sled.
Just sparks shooting out the back.
And I'm complaining about the importance of thematics to these villain types. Did you get the money?
I did, sir. Both bags.
Great job. All right, we're gonna make a run for it. And so now we're running through downtown, past cars, through the elk. I said, hold on tight. We're gonna take this exit here, and then there should be a truck that picks us up.
Okay.
And so total Knight Rider style.
Spy.
Spy Hunter. We got to get right behind that 18-wheeler and zip right in. Door
Up on the
closes. Door closes on the truck. The elk come to a stop, and Dr. Yes comes walking out from some part of carriage of his 18 Wheels of Doom vehicle. Did you get us the money? Yes. This a new minion worked out very, very well. Bag of money. You gonna give the man his bag of money?
Yes, I'll hand it over. Nice to meet you, sir. Here you are.
We're gonna go settle down and start working on the panda project, if that's okay. All right. Time passes. We're in the lab. We're working on the pandas. So I've been thinking with the pandas, where it might be effective to put the lasers is not on their heads, but on their feet. What do you think?
Well, because they do a lot of sitting up with them. It
Yeah.
would be like on their front paws kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. What happens when they walk on them, though? Is there like a retractable feature that you're going to build into the laser?
I think you've nominated yourself for your first project, Minion.
Very exciting, sir. I'll get right on it.
And Marcel goes back to his desk, and he, for the first time, has a moment to think to himself, and he's reminiscing about his days with Roger Stevenson. He kind of slowly falls asleep, and I think we're going to get a flashback. We're going to get a flashback to find out how Marcel had become a minion, and Roger Stevenson became on the wrong side of the law. It's 1977, and Jimmy Carter is newly elected president, promising
Suspected vampire.
promising to end violence against the vampires. Roger Stevenson and Dr. Moreau are hunting vampires in... Steve, help me out here. Where we're going to be hunting vampires?
Presumably we'd be hunting vampires. Wichita, Kansas.
In Wichita. Some nice middle American vampires. It's a big battle. It's in a warehouse somewhere in Wichita. It's literally days after the law has been passed by the Senate to no longer kill vampires. Somehow the media has got a hold of the fact that we're battling vampires in this warehouse, and so the helicopters and the news reporters are there to catch us, and we're on the news, and it's kind of the end of us. Bad reputations. Mm-hmm. I get arrested. Somehow Roger Stevenson eludes capture, but I go on trial.
No one can cap the Incisor.
We're killing Ma and Pa Ferratu.
You get a little montage. I'm doing time. I eventually get out of jail. I'm in a halfway house where I've got a bunch of posters of like pandas and tigers and stuff.
And you just keep drawing lasers on them.
Yes. And then eventually I find a want ad for the Yes Corporation. And then we kind of fade back into me sitting at my desk at the Yes Corporation. When Dr. Yes walks in and says, "Moreau, I've got a project for you. There's a gentleman by the name of the Incisor." And I say, "The vampire hunter?" And he said, "The vampire hunter? No, another doctor. Wears a costume that looks like a tooth. He's put in a special order."
Yeah, so he shows you a little pad with a video message. "Hello, good sir, Dr. Yes. I saw your duping of the vampires and getting their ka-ching away from those bloodsuckers. And I thought, hey, I could do with some lasers. Here's what I'm thinking. Extraction machine. I need something to blast the teeth out of people from 400 yards. Can you do it?"
I dare not say no to Dr. Yes.
How should it go, gang?
I'd say it goes well.
All right.
All right. I am stimulated to maybe put lasers on something other than animals, perhaps. I think I can retrofit some dentistry tools and handle this commission for Dr. Yes, who's apparently not just a villain, but is a cottage industry.
He's a founding member of Glove as well.
That'd be great.
He's on the board.
The board of Glove.
He's one of the fingers of Glove.
Why don't you guys set the scene for me?
So they're looking for who stole the money from the charity. They're mobilizing task forces and heroes to hunt down a villain who was cited, a known vampire killer who was cited at the event, who they suspect would be the only one to steal money out of the mouths of hungry child vampires.
Perhaps you sense an opportunity to frame your rival.
But he's not a known vampire hunter.
Does it matter? He's got the same name as you.
And he was there.
No one's really heard of him.
So you hold a villainous live via satellite from an unknown location press conference,
addressing the world at large. I've co-opted all the media platforms as villains tend to.
Yeah, well, you're being interviewed on CNN by
I'm doing that.
Victoria Duplinious, anchor 7.
Yes.
Victoria Duplinious 7.
Who's a news anchor on CNN.
CNN Stockholm? Have I gotten out of Stockholm, or am I back?
You're at an undisclosed location.
Oh, undisclosed location.
What are you going to say to the world?
World, the Incisor here. The true one and true Incisor. Listen, vampires are a curse and a blight upon society. They must not be tolerated in any way. But even I wouldn't stoop to steal money from a charity organization, even if it's full of blood-sucking fiends. Also, at this site, I would like to mention was the false incisor, the false tooth, as I like to call him, a strange little man in a tooth suit who goes by the name, tries to use the name Incisor. And I believe it was he, not I, that stole the money from the charitable organization.
How's this going to go? It's going to go good for the incisor?
No, I think it goes negatively. You can't catch a break. So, Incisor, you're letting me to believe that you say you believe you did not steal the money. How do you know that you didn't?
What?
The way you phrased it, you said, I believe it was the other Incisor and not me who stole the money. How do you know you didn't actually steal the money? The way that you're phrasing things, sir, makes it believe that actually you might have had something to do with stealing the money.
I didn't steal the money. No, the Incisor, the fake Incisor stole the money.
I'm sorry, sir, but the incisor that you were referring to is actually one of the fingers of Glove, which is known as the international organization, villains organization. He definitely holds a lot more sway than you do, sir.
No. Little Toothy is not a member of Glove. Glove has clearly classified him as a part of a D-list villain organization.
Oh, no, sir. He has actually expanded himself and is actually doing a lot better. You might be thinking of his father. Obviously, you're not getting your facts straight.
Well, listen.
Which leads me to believe that maybe you don't have your facts straight as far as stealing this money.
Wait. This feels like some sort of a witch hunt.
I think, sir, that we need some more facts from you before we can believe the statements that you're trying to tell us. You can't just come on my show.
Novocaine! Squirt fired an injector dart of Novocaine into anchorwoman Victoria Duplinious the seventh, and then just run out of the studio.
Cut to the basement lair of the incisor. And he has a shoe in one hand, ready to have been thrown at the TV, but he picks up his communicator phone. It's a flip phone that he's got a toothcase for. Still like an old Nikon though. And he's like, ring, ring, ring. Victoria Duplinious 7. Well, I live and breathe, sister. Thanks for putting old Roger Stevenson's on the spot for me.
Well, I always have your back. I figure if anyone's going to go ahead and clear our father's name, it would be you.
But you might have overdone things a little bit.
Why do you say that?
Well, there are 5 fingers in the glove, and I don't really want to get on the wrong side of any of those fingers.
Well, understandable, but I thought talking you up in the media, if I can get the rest of the media to be talking you up too, then maybe they'll recognize you a little bit more.
Let's just say that good old Roger Ailes, the 4th finger of glove, the middle finger, he may turn the rest of media against you. Be careful out there, 7. Vicky 7. Over and out.
I hate it when he hangs up like that.
Now is the time to get my tooth extraction device online while I've got a little bit of limelight. Plus, I should probably talk to Yes and clear up this whole finger thing. Mom!
Yes, dear?
Can you give me a ride to the train station?
Oh, of course. Just let me finish bringing these cookies out of the oven.
Mom! I gotta go now!
You can give me 5 minutes, honey. 5 minutes is not going to make a difference.
Fine.
Besides, you should put on a warmer cape. That's a little bit cold. It's a little cold outside.
I'll wear my whole tooth costume, okay? Jeez.
Okay, fine. Then go put that on. By the time you get your tooth costume on, I will have the cookies out of the oven.
But now you know I can't take the train, because I can't sit on the train in my tooth costume. Mom.
Well, then do you want to borrow the sled again?
No, that's okay.
I'll just give you a ride.
Thank you, Mom.
Anything for you, sweetie.
So I take the train to D.C., and go down into the bunker beneath the Capitol where Dr. Yes' lair is.
Dr. D17, I love you, Moxie. Saw what you were doing. Happy to help you out. Got my best man working on some new weapons for you.
Listen, Yes, my villainous superior, I just want to say that Vicky 7 totally went off script. And if anyone's going to bear the blame for what was said, you should totally kill her.
Oh, no worries, kid. Why hold yourself back?
Oh, you mean it? That's well. How's this going to go? I think this is like a good spot.
Yeah.
So I guess negative. It's going to go negatively.
Okay. Yes kind of takes me over to Moreau's lab, and arrayed on a tray are all these laser dental utensils. And I go, oh, these look fantastic. And Moreau goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. These aren't ready yet. And that's what you're kind of telling Yes off to the side.
These aren't ready yet, Doc. But you know what? If you got them up, can I talk to the client?
I think Yes might, because it's not going to go well. I think Yes is going to go, they're done enough for him. But
Yes.
feel free
Yes,
to
they're
talk to
done.
the client.
All right. I think really Marcel pulls Victor over. Says, kid, here you're marching yourself out as the incisor? That's the best you could do? You know there's another incisor out there.
I don't think so. Not for long. Look at me. Look at my sweet costume. Ignore the fact that it got wrinkled on the train. It's hard to sit in it.
Just saying, there's another incisor out there. You're just causing a lot of confusion.
That's baloney.
Yeah,
Thanks for the devices.
yeah, just
But
some.
you know what? You don't know what you're talking about. Stick to your lasers, old man.
Saying no, this ain't gonna end well with you, kid.
What do you know? You rocket jockey.
I used to run with the original incisor.
Oh, so you're senile too. Good luck with yourself, sir. And I grab the utensils and march out the door.
Kids.
And you look down on your desk, and there are some of the parts that should probably be in those devices that regulate important things.
So Vicky 5 comes in just to see her brother heading out the door. Her clone, the incisor, heading out the door, and she heads over to Marcel. Wait, did he take the equipment?
Sure did.
But sir, it wasn't ready.
Sometimes you learn things out the hard way.
Look, my brother is a idiot, that's for sure. But he doesn't deserve to.
Wait. That was your brother?
Kind of. He's one of the clones that I'm part of. Yes, we were all clones of Doctor Victor Duplinious. I was one of the female clones that was part of the more recent.
Dr. Duplinious. Never heard of him.
As
Probably
you say
not
this, the mailboy comes through, Victor Duplinious 47, and hands you guys a package that came with some laser parts and a panda glue that lets you fuse mechanical things to pandas. It came in from Amazon Prime.
You might
But it just kind of
notice
goes on.
he
You'd
looks
be
a little.
you're like, hey, Victor.
You might notice there's a little bit of family resemblance here.
Alrighty. Well, hopefully you've got a better head on your shoulders and you're a bit more patient.
I definitely am, sir. But is there something we can do? I'd really rather he doesn't go that way. I mean, it could go really badly for him. He's an idiot, sure, but he doesn't deserve to die that horribly as it could go.
Well, if he's mixing things up with Roger's the original incisor. He's a relic, but he's a tough SOB.
You know the original incisor?
Well, I wasn't always just a minion. I used to try to save the world. You could call me a hero.
Really, sir? I had no idea.
Yep. Back then I was Dr. Moreau. I was a...
Oh, sir, I've heard so much about you. A lot of your technology is what really, launched a lot of villains.
Oh, well, kid, I'm taking a shine to you. I'm gonna share with you a special little project I've been working on. Hell, who knows? You new kids in the new technology. Maybe you're gonna help me get this one over where I'm stuck. It's a weather device. Some old D-list villain, some Dr. Thunder. He tried to build this weather.
Dr. Thunder's weather control device? Sir, it's something of legend, but I didn't think it actually existed.
Well, the problem is he tried to come up with a purely technological solution. And really, my knowledge in animal sciences, I think I'm going to close the gap on some necessary features.
That's incredibly exciting, sir. I would love to work with you on this project if you'd allow me.
Sure, kid. I love your moxie.
I'm so excited, sir.
So-
So she's now in the lab working on this weather control device. Does it go good or bad for her?
Yeah, why not? She seems to be a good kid.
So it goes well for her.
How does that manifest?
She's in the process of tinkering with some things, moving a few dials, screwing in a couple extra screws, looking at schematics that she's been given by Moreau. And then all of a sudden there's this like kind of flash and she looks up and there's this small cloud that has formed with these small lightning bursts. She's like, Sir, it's working. It's working.
The electric eels. I knew it.
Brilliant, sir. Absolutely brilliant. It's amazing. I mean, to think what this thing could do.
Animals. Lots of power.
Indeed.
Haven't quite figured out a use for this device yet.
There's got to be some really good applications. I'm sure we'll come up with something. Is this something that you want to talk to Dr. Yes about?
No. This is a private project. Don't go telling anybody.
All right, sir. I'm willing to keep this on the down low. I'm really excited.
Appreciate it. It's been an interesting couple of days for Marcel. He's working with somebody again. He's enjoying the collaboration. Seen a villain come through his door who personified everything that's really annoying about being a minion. And he's starting to get the old itch. The itch to maybe do some good. He starts sketching out designs for perhaps a new hero concept that could include a sidekick. But first, there's the question of Dr. Yes and Glove. He's gonna have to do something to sabotage Dr. Yes. He will reclaim the title of hero using Dr. Thunder's weather control device, a former doomsday device, for good. So he goes back to and helps finalize the device. How is he going to take down Glove? Take down Glove. There we go.
Yeah, he reaches out to the legends of Veritas Everywhere, which is like the hero group, and so it's that their love, and and.
He
So
said
your thoughts are no glove, no love. So so maybe you're like leak this device to them, to some full-fledged heroes.
How'd you fellas like to cut the fingers off a glove?
So what do you think?
And CC Roger Stevenson, perhaps.
Yeah.
His sympathy. So he sends out a letter to Love, and then he sends out an email to Roger through his fan website, because he doesn't have his email. They haven't really spoken to each other, and they barely.
It's not being shipped to him on laser implanted carrier pigeon.
But he still has a fan website. So he goes to the Incisor fan website and sends him a letter and saying, "Hey, listen, I met the imposter Incisor. Got some things going along here that might be able to help you out. Maybe get us both back in the hero business. Taking down the Yes Corporation, Dr. Yes, and Doctor Victor Duplinious 17. If you're interested, give me a call. Here's a number."
So I like, bling, whoop, I got an email on my little 1995 PowerBook.
With the roller ball.
Yeah, with the roller ball. I read over. Moreau's like, "Oh, Moreau's got a device. It doesn't matter if we're heroes or not. The world needs to know that vampires are evil. Maybe we can use this device in order to conquer once and for all the vampire terror that's stalking this world, and to show the world that vampires don't need to exist." And I write back.
Oh, you're writing back to me.
Yeah, and I write that like, "Oh, you wanted a call?"
Yeah, I left you a number.
Oh yeah,
You should probably call me back.
But I don't. Okay. So I go down to my local payphone with a giant stack of quarters.
Yeah.
And I clink, 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 and I call.
Hello?
Moreau, you're onto something, but you're not. Your device, it can be used for once and all to cure the world of the vampire curse.
Roger. Aren't you tired of being the bad guy?
It doesn't matter if they view me as a good guy or a bad guy. I'm what this world needs. And the world needs no vampires.
Who are the real villains in this world?
Vampires. Don't you understand? It's vampires.
I've got
Please
it.
pay 25 cents for the next 3 minutes.
Oh, God. Clink, clink, clink.
I don't know, Roger. I think we've got a tremendous opportunity here to help out Love, to take down Glove, to take down the Yes Corporation and Dr. Yes, and get back in the good graces of the hero community. To get back in the good graces of the people. Don't you remember the way they used to look at us?
They've abandoned me. I've been abandoned for far too long. There's no going back. I need justice. I need justice, man. The world has turned its back on me, so I've turned my back on the world.
Marcel looks over to his assistant and he thinks, well, maybe there's somebody else who can help me. And he hangs up the phone on Roger Stevenson.
So how's this going to go?
I think it goes positively for you.
All right.
Heck yeah.
You're the man with the plan. It's going to go well.
We are going to get in the hero business, you and me. What do you think, kid?
The hero business. Well, I've never thought of myself as a hero, but, you know, it definitely would show Glove that my father's name shouldn't have just been regulated to the D list.
Well, we'll be starting out at sidekick. Don't get me wrong. You're still going
Oh,
to be
no, sir. I'm more than happy to be a sidekick, but it would definitely, like, change up some stuff. I mean, a sidekick is going to definitely gets you more publicity than a minion.
Well, we're going to have to come up with a good name for you. One thing at a time, though. The weather device. How we got to use the weather device to take down the Yes Corporation and maybe even Glove.
So now we're going to all roll our dice that we have. All right, so we've generated our tilt. We have failure, a stupid plan executed to perfection, and paranoia. 2 people, cross paths, and everything changes. We interrupt our story here, and we'll resume in our next communique. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho or on Instagram at BORED_GHOST. That's Bored Ghost. Stacey, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Statomo. That's STADOMO.
All right. Josh, where can people find you?
Usually sitting in a bar in Brooklyn.
All right. Steve, where can people find you?
People can find me at StephenMoverley.com.
To learn more about the players and engine in our story, visit boredghost.com. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at BoredGhostWorld on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. Please leave comments and reviews on iTunes or your preferred listening portal, and take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's page, hotelsandhighways.com. We also have all of our stories up on YouTube, so you can go watch, listen there if that's your preferred way of listening. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which I believe is Bored Ghost. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me, no. Dying don't agree with me.